Welcome back to the Demon Slayer Gaming Channel. We're going to be continuing our Final Fantasy XIV Dungeon Guide series today. Today we're going to be taking a look at the new Alliance raid added in patch 6.3, Euphrosyne.
At last the time has come. Prove to me life's resolve.
Starting off for the first boss, Abundance is just going to do party-wide damage you'll need to heal through. She'll follow up with Matron's Plenty, which is going to cut off the outside portion of the platform. This will also turn the platform into a wildflower bed. She'll then begin casting Giving Land. While the wildflower bed is out, the Giving Land will do a circular AoE underneath the boss. It will then transition into a green grassland, which will then cause the Giving Land to spawn trees and do a donut AoE around the boss. So for the first one, you'll move away from the boss, and then the second one, you'll move under her. She'll follow this up with Matron's Harvest. This is going to do party-wide damage, along with transitioning the platform back to its original phase. So then cast Reaper's Gale, which is going to do two different sets of line AoEs across the platform, before doing another Matron's Plenty. You'll need to see which phase she transitions into. For us, it was the grassland first. So for the Giving Land, you'll want to move underneath her. Then she'll transition into the second one, which would be the Wildflower Bed. You'll want to make note that at this time, you'll also have a forced movement on your character. So pay attention to which direction you'll be forced to move so that you can make sure that you're moving away from the boss. She'll follow this up with another Matron's Harvest for party-wide damage. She'll then go to the center of the platform and begin casting Matron's Breath. This will spawn multiple AoE markers on the platform, along with two circles on the platform colored the same as the AoEs. You want to position yourself inside of the same color as the AoE happening. So for us, first it was blue, then yellow, followed by blue again. So then cast Abundance for party-wide damage. Before transitioning back into her Matron's Plenty phases. Again, we got the Grassland first, followed by the Floral Haze, which is going to be the Wildflower Grove. This time she will also cast Land Waker, along with Reaper's Gale. This is going to do circular AoEs on the platform, along with the two separate sets of line AoEs. She'll follow up with the Giving Land, so make sure that you're positioning yourself accordingly. Remember that you also have the forced movement at this time, so you'll want to pay attention to this for the next part of the phase. She'll then cast Sowing Circle, which is going to do two different sets of 4 circular AoEs that will transition out from the boss. So you'll just need to move in between these to make sure you're not getting hit. and then casting Matron's Harvest for more party-wide damage. So there's many different effects back to back that you'll need to be watching out for. She'll then go into another Matron's Breath. This one will have 6 circles instead of 3. Started off for us, it was blue, then yellow, followed by another blue, and then yellow twice, and then one final blue to end it. She'll follow this up with a Furrow, which is going to do a group up mechanic that you'll need to group to split the damage for. And then a Heaven's Earth, which is going to be a tank buster on all 3 tanks, so you'll just want to spread out and make sure no one else gets hit by this. She'll follow this up with another Abundance for party-wide damage. And she'll do this 2 times in succession. At this point, the fight will start to repeat itself. So we'll go into another Matron's Harvest. I'll have to check which floor pattern you have first. This time we had the Wildflower Grove, so we want to make sure that we're positioning away from her. At the same time, we need to watch out for the Landwalker and the Reaper's Gale, so the large circular AoEs on the platform along with the line AoEs. When Giving Land begins casting is whenever you'll want to move away or move in. We have the Sowing Circle with the multiple sets of circular AoEs away from the boss, and then another Giving Land, which you'll need to either move in or out depending on which phase you're in. I honestly feel like I had one of the worst combinations there, having to move in between the circular AoEs and facing away from the boss to move back towards her to avoid the knockup, but we were able to make it through. Follow up with another Matron's Harvest for party-wide damage. And then another Matron's Breath with the 6 circular AoEs. So just position depending on which colors you're getting in which order.
Be strong for what awaits.
By my authority, let the land be remade.
For the next area, there will be 3 toads along with 6 of the werewoods. Each of the werewoods can do a line AoE out for them, along with the toads doing circular AoEs under them. So you just want to move out of all of these. The toads also have line AoEs that they'll do that will cause them to rush across the platform. For the next platform, there will be 3 additional adds. You will want to split these up between the 3 tanks, as they each have tank busters that they can do. They also will cast Roaring Rumble, which will do party-wide damage, along with having circular AoEs that they can throw out at random party members. After the 3 adds are dead, there will be a large AoE in the center of the platform where a behemoth will jump down onto it. The behemoth does a multi-tank tank buster, so the tanks will want to group up on one side of him. Ecliptic Comic is going to do a proximity-based AoE from the center of the platform, so you'll just want to move away. And then he'll follow up with Trounce, which will do a large cone AoE in front of him, so you'll just get to his sides or behind him. He'll follow up with another Trounce shortly afterwards. This should bring you to the second boss. This one will actually have two separate bosses. One tank should pick up Althik and the other one pick up Nimia, and then you'll want to move them away from each other as they receive a buff by being close to each other. Nimia will cast Spinner's Wheel, which has multiple different effects that can happen. You'll either have a fire and ice effect, which will need to stop attacking and moving for fire, and then continue to move and attack if you have ice. Or you'll receive a charm effect, which can either be a upside down charm effect or a right side up charm effect. If it's right side up, then you will need to be looking away from Nimia, and if it's upside down, you'll be need to look at her to avoid being charmed by it. While this is happening, Althik will also be casting different time-based abilities that will cause time to accelerate for different party members, making their effects happen quicker, along with doing large cone AoEs across the platform that you'll just want to move out of. When Althik casts Axomia, this is just going to do party-wide damage that will need to be healed through, and then it will leave a residual purple AoE on the ground. At this time, Nimia will cast Hydroptosis. This will cause circular AoEs on several party members. If you are standing inside of the purple lines, it will also apply a magic vulnerability up debuff to you, which will cause this ability to hit much harder. After this, Althric will cast Inexorable Pull, which will want to pull everyone up into the air. To avoid this, you'll stand inside of the purple AoEs so that you are held down to the ground. After this, Nimia will cast Hydrothmos. This is going to do a water-based AoE that will move out towards the sides of the platforms. So you'll just want to stand next to it until the AoE goes off and then move into it to avoid the follow-up AoEs. At the same time, Althric will cast Mithril Great Axe for his large cone AoE, so you'll want to avoid standing inside of that. When both bosses teleport towards their sides of the platform, Althix will cast Petria, which is going to do a double tank buster on the tank, so the two tanks over there will want to group up to split the damage, while Nimia is cast Hydrostasis. This is going to put 3 AoEs onto the platform labeled 1, 2, and 3. The AoEs will go off in the order that they are listed, each of them causing a knockback effect, so you want to position your character close to the first AoE to happen and in the direction that number 2 will happen, and then from number 2 to number 3, and then from the third one make sure that you're towards the middle of the platform so you're not pushed off. This time we got the attraction reversed, so we need to actually be looking at Nimia or we'll be charmed. While this happens, Althrix will do his Mithril Great Axe, so just make sure that you're not inside of the AoE. Followed by the Hydroptosis from Nimia, so spread out and don't be inside of the purple AoEs to avoid the magic up debuff. Althix will cast Petria, double tank buster. Will then teleport back to their positions in the platform, doing the Hydrostasis one more time. This time Althrix will speed one of them up, so this will change the timing on them. Number 3 will become number 1, and then number 1 will become number 2, and number 2 becomes number 3. Boss's HP is shared through this fight, so Nimia will constantly be draining her HP to give it back to Althrix, so it doesn't matter which one of them you are focusing, they both die at roughly the same time. This time for Nimia's wheel, people have either sets of the charm effect. So you'll need to check which one you actually have and then reposition whether you need to be looking at the boss or away from it. For certain people, Althrix will also speed up time, causing their charm effect to happen before the others. After this, Nimia will cast Hydrothmos. So you'll just want to stand next to it until the AoE goes off and then move into it to avoid the follow-up AoEs. This will be followed with Hydropstasis along with the Inexorable Pool. So make sure that after the AoEs go off, you're moving into the purple to avoid being knocked into the air. Althix will cast Petrio, double tank buster. Once one of them is down, then you will just switch over to the other one and finish it off, and that should be it for this fight.
This too is fate. Upon the most exalted of battlefields you shall stand.
Moving towards the next platform, each of the Colossuses also has another tank buster, so you'll want to split these up between the different tanks. You can still group them though to AoE the rest of the adds down. The smaller adds will have line AoEs that they will throw out, and then the Colossuses have circular AoEs and donut AoEs from them. The circle AoEs and donut AoEs are interruptible though, so range DPS along with tanks will want to make sure that they're interrupting these abilities. Before the fight starts, you can set up the markers for A, B, and C, with A being in the northwest quadrant, with B being in the south quadrant, and then C being in the northeast. This will be helpful for the different sets of group up AoEs, along with a later mechanic that you'll need to get inside of a AoE to DPS it down. Start off the Rain of Spears. This is going to do party-wide damage that will happen in 3 different sets. So you can cast barriers in between each of these to help reduce the damage a lot. Then teleport to the middle of the platform and cast Tetrapagos. So do 4 different AoEs back to back that will transition between in, out, left, and right. So you'll want to just be on the opposite side of each of these. So for us, the first one was on the outside, so we want to move in, and then it will be on the right, so we want to move towards the left side. And then the one in the middle will happen, so we want to move out, and then the left side, so we move to the right. Should follow this up again with another Tetrapagos, so you'll just repeat the process depending on which AoE she summons. For us it was out, followed by left, then right, and then in, to avoid each of these. You'll then have a Doom Spear, where each group will want to split to cover each of these AoEs. Followed by Spears 3, which will be a tank buster on each of the tanks. She'll then do Thousandfold Thrust, which is going to cause all of these circles around her to converge on one side of her, and then she'll do AoEs on that side of the platform. So you just want to move on the opposite side that the circles will be on. After this is done, she'll follow up with another Thousandfold Thrust, so again, just transition to the opposite side. After this, she'll cast Locos. This is going to do 2 different line AoEs that will transition across the platform, covering 3/4 of it. So you'll want to check which portion of the platform is not going to have an AoE in it and move into this. Will of the Fury is going to cause a AoE to begin moving in from the outside of the platform. So you'll just want to immediately move towards the outside of the platform and move in between this as it begins moving in. At the same time, the boss will cast Wrath of Halone, which is going to do a proximity based AoE from the middle of the platform. This does very high damage, so you will need to be quite far away to avoid being one shot by it. She'll then transition towards the front of the platform and begin charging a large AoE and summoning 3 glacial spears. This is where you'll want to break up into your individual parties to DPS down each of the glacial spears. At the same time, there will be another glacial spear in the center of the platform that will be throwing out AoEs in the direction of all 3 other ones. The ones that are locked inside of their individual areas will do large circular AoEs that you'll just want to move away from. There will also be circular AoEs on multiple party members that you'll just need to spread out to avoid hitting other people with. This will be followed up by a line AoE down each of the areas that are currently locked away that will begin rotating in different directions. So you'll need to check which area it's going to be rotating in, making sure that you're not getting hit by this. Once your spear is dead, then you'll want to switch DPS and kill the spear in the middle of the platform. Once the middle spear is dead, if any group has not finished off their individual spear, then it will open it up and you'll allow you to all assist that group. Once all of them are dead, then you'll just group in the middle for AoE healing and barriers and stuff to help prevent the damage from the boss's ultimate ability. After this, she'll just transition back into her normal phase, teleporting back towards the center of the platform and beginning with a Locos. So again, identify which portion of the platform is not going to have an AoE across from it. At the same time, she'll do 1,000-fold thrust. She'll always do it in an intercardinal direction, so still have 1/8 of the platform available to stand in. This will be followed up with several circular AoEs on party members. We found the best way to do this is for the people with the circular AoEs to move out, whereas everyone else can move in. She'll follow up with another Will of the Fury, which is going to do the circular AoE around the outside of the platform that you'll immediately want to move out towards so that you can avoid being hit from it as it begins moving in, followed by a Wrath of Halone proximity AoE from the middle. And then another Tetrapagos thrust, so pay attention to which order the 4 different AoEs are going to happen in. For us, we needed to move in and then on the right, followed by moving out and to the left. This time will be followed up with one of her thrust abilities, so you'll want to move on the opposite side of the red circles. And then another Doom Spear, so you'll break into your individual groups to split this damage. She'll follow this with another Rain of Spears, which will do 3 sets of AoE to the entire party. She'll then teleport to the middle of the platform and cast Shalaza. This will do circular AoEs on many of the party members along with a group up AoE that you'll need to group to split. She'll follow this up with another Tetrapagos. This one will not have a thrust at the end of it, so you'll be able to just avoid the 4 AoEs. It will have Spears 3 though, which is going to do a tank buster on all 3 tanks. Follow this up with another Locos, so you'll identify which fourth of the platform will be available, and then Thousandfold Thrust will cut off another half of that fourth, so you'll be down to 1/8 of the platform that will be safe from damage. You'll then have the circular AoEs that will want to move out away from the rest of the group while everyone else stays in the middle. She'll follow this up with the Will of the Fury, so that you'll move out to move into the AoE after it goes off, and another Wrath of Halone proximity AoE in the center of the platform. This will be followed by another Rain of Spears, so this will be 3 sets of AoE damage. This will be followed with a Tetrapagos Thrust, so there will be the 4 sets of AoEs, and then it will have a thrust at the end of it. For us, we had it to move out, and then on the left, followed by the right, and then in. Then we wanted to get in front of the boss, so that when she turned to do her thrust, it didn't hit us. Follow this up with another Doom Spear, so it's split into your individual groups. And this will be followed by another Rain of Spears for the 3 sets of AoE damage. Then there will be one final Spears 3 for the Tank Buster on all the tanks, for hopefully she goes down. Otherwise, you'll just continue to repeat certain mechanics until you finish her off.
Your next testament.
Come bathe in the moon's tender glow.
And this should bring you to our final boss here, Minfina. Now for the Minfina fight, when you pick her up, she'll initially start off with casting Blue Moon. This is going to do party-wide damage and cut off the outside of the platform. She'll then cast Love's Light, which is going to summon the moon on the one side of the platform, followed by her casting Full Bright. You'll want to identify where the moon is and position yourself either to the left or right of it, as once it fully fills up, it would launch a large line AoE down the center of the platform. She'll then teleport to the middle of the platform, casting Midnight Frost. This is going to do a AoE that will cover half of the platform in the direction that the frost is originating from her, so you just want to stand on the opposite side of this. Lunar Kiss is going to do a tank buster on the tanks that will be a line AoE, so you'll want to make sure you avoid standing near any of the tanks at this time. Silver Mirror is going to do 3 sets of circular AoEs that you'll just want to move out of. She'll then begin casting Moonset, which is going to do 3 larger circular AoEs. You'll want to try and move close to the last circular AoE, because after it goes off, she will then do a ability called Winter Halo, which will do a donut AoE from her current location. She'll then cast Love's Light yet again, which will then summon 4 moons onto the platform. 2 of them will be filled halfway already, so you'll want to move out of the circles that are originating from those moons, as they will fill first, causing the AoEs to happen first. Once those AoEs go off, then you'll transition into the openings left behind, before moving to one side of her to avoid Midnight Frost. She will then cast Selenian Mysteria. This is going to cause the boss to become untargetable, along with summoning 4 crystals onto the platform. You will need to kill these ceremonial pillars before the lover's power fills up. At the same time, there will be 4 sprites on the platform that will be launching cone AoEs at random party members that you'll just need to move out of, along with circular AoEs that are being put on random party members also, so you'll want to avoid standing next to other people. Once all 4 pillars are dead, then Minfina will summon her wolf companion, doing the Rise of the Twin Moons AoE to all party members, so you'll just need to heal through this. At this time, all of Minfina's abilities will get an additional AoE attached to them, so Midnight Frost will not only do an AoE in the area that she has her frost pointing at, but also in the direction that the wolf has his sickle. So this will only leave 1/4 of the platform available. Playful Orbit is going to cause the wolf to jump away from Minfina and cause the next Midnight Frost to then do his AoE from the outside of the platform, leaving only 1/8 of the platform available to stand in. Then cast Blue Moon, causing more AoE damage, before casting Keen Moonbeam. This will cause circular AoEs on many party members, so you'll need to spread out to avoid these. And then a Midnight Frost afterwards, where you'll need to check the AoE from both the boss and the dog to stand in the 4th of the platform that will be safe. Cratering Chill is going to cause 2 proximity-based AoEs towards the outsides of the platform. Directly after this will be Winter Solace, which is going to cause the entire platform to become icy, so you'll slide around. At this time, you'll need to get into the middle of the platform to avoid the donut AoE around Minfina, along with getting towards one side of her circle to avoid the AoE from the dog that will cut off 1/2 of the platform. Moonset Rays is going to do a group up AoE that you'll need to group to split the damage, and then she'll cast Lover's Light to spawn the 4 moons onto the platform. Again, make sure that you're transitioning into one of the areas that has the moon that is not lit up to begin with, and then after that AoE goes off, go towards the available opening. She'll follow up with a Silver Moon, which will do the 3 sets of smaller AoEs, followed up by a Midnight Frost, leaving 1/4 of the platform available to be stood in. Love's Light will cause the large moon to form on the outside of the platform at this time. And then she'll also cast Playful Orbit, so you'll need to be aware of where the AoEs are coming from the boss and the dog, and transition immediately after the AoE from the moon. Moonset Rays is going to do a group up AoE that you'll need to group to split the damage. Follow this up with another Lunar Kiss on all of the tanks, so make sure that you're not positioned near them. And then Love's Light. So summon the moons again, so position yourself towards the ones that are not half full. This time she'll also combine it with a Midnight Frost, so you'll need to move in the direction that the frost will not be hitting the platform on. So then cast Blue Moon for party-wide damage. And then another Lunar's Kiss. Follow this up with a Keen Moonbeam, which will do the circular AoEs on multiple party members. And there will be a Midnight Frost combined with this, so you'll need to move towards the 1/4 of the platform that will not have an AoE on it. Cratering Chill will be the 2 proximity AoEs towards the outside of the platform. Following this up with Winter Solstice, which is going to make the floor icy, and then the Winter's Halo, which will do the half a platform AoE from the wolf along with a donut AoE from Menvina. Moonset Rays is your group up mechanic, so make sure to split this damage. Love's Light will summon the moons one more time. And this will be it for Euphrosyne. I hope this helped everyone out. If it did, please make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel. And I will catch you on the next one.